What's going on, everybody? It's Mark, not Marcus, reporting live from Fiji, and I think it's time I pull you for a chat. But first, I got a text. Islanders, meet me at the fire pit. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Mark, not Marcus. My name is Mark, not Marcus, and welcome to the Mark, not Marcus YouTube channel. If this is your first time being here, it is so nice to meet you. Get ready for a great episode, but first, let's get into a couple formalities. Can you like this video? Then I need you to comment. Let's spark up a conversation. I mean, it's Love Island. We got a lot we could talk about. Then I need you to share. And share it with who? Share with your mama, your daddy, your sister, your brother, your niece, your nephew, your auntie, your uncle, your baby mama, your baby daddy. I don't care who you share it to. Share it to them and tell them all the amazing things that we're doing here on the Mark, not Marcus YouTube family. And then I need you to subscribe. We're currently on the road to 500 subscribers. We're so close. We're so close. So I need you to click that subscribe button so we can get to 500 subscribers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And lastly, turn on that notification bell so you're always notified when another YouTube video is coming from me to you. So now that we got all those formalities out the way, let's talk about Love Island, chat. For some reason, if you don't know what Love Island is because you just refuse to check it out, or you just like, oh my God, no, I'm not talking about none of that. Or if you really are new to it and you're getting into it, you know, it's okay. I have a YouTube video where I talked about the beginning before season 8 even started. And I also gave a little recap of what Love Island is. So click that and you can learn all about Love Island before you finish this video. So yeah, but let's talk about episodes 5 through 9. This was a week, and we're gonna talk about it. So I took notes through episodes 5, 6, 7, 8, and the most recent episode, episode 9. Today is Saturday, so After Sun is coming on today. I won't talk about After Suns, and if I do, they'll be on the next week's episodes. If there was anything from After Sun that I need to touch on, they'll be on that episode. But yeah, so what this is Mark Reacts. And Mark Reacts is a segment on my channel where we're reacting to something, whether it's music, television, film, pop culture, whatever. But I like this Mark Reacts because it's a little different. So Mark, play that intro for Mark Reacts. Welcome to Mark Reacts. And yes, the scenery is a little different, but the vibes are still the same. Play that intro. First up, we're starting off with episode 5. So let me read all my notes to y'all. I'm gonna try to make this be a little more structured, but regardless, we here for the vibe. So episode 5 starts off from the recap from the whole Melanie and Beatriz blow up conversation or whatever. So Anaya and Melanie are talking about the recent blow up with Mel and Bea. Nothing really happened. They just talking, Anaya-ing with Mel. Love Anaya, but her therapy sessions, the Kumbaya princess, it's not working. It's enabling, low-key. But Trinity and Bea have a conversation, and Trinity's just trying to get Mel to see it from a different, Trinity's trying to get Bea to see it from a different perspective. And originally she really didn't give a fuck because she's just like, you know, you're blunt when you want to be, but you can't take it when someone was blunt to you. And that's exactly how she said it. I don't know if she said it to Trinity or if she said it in her confessional. But Trinity eventually was telling her, like, you know, y'all not tight like that. So if somebody check you or somebody say something to you, it can come off like you trying to check them. And like, you don't really know me like that. So how you know how I'm gonna, you know, accept that? So Sean and Bryce are talking because we know there's an elimination coming up, but they do not know that. So Sean and Bryce is talking, and Sean's talking about how you want to pull Trinity. And, you know, he's just talking to Bryce because Bryce and Trinity are currently coupled up. So that goes well or whatever. Corbin and Kenzie. Well, Corbin and Kenzie. Corbin is just corny AF. I literally wrote like 20 F's because he's just corny. But we can kind of see that him and Kenzie is hitting it off. Yeah, child. I don't have much to say about them. Sincere and Melanie. They talk and he comforts her, especially after the blow up or whatever. What I took from that is Sincere didn't tell her, because what she said was, I need a friend right now. I need to talk to a friend right now. I don't need to talk to Sincere, my connection. I need to talk to my friend. Sincere, just be a friend right now. I think that's what she said. And he felt the way about that, but we'll get to that later. And in that moment, it seemed like Sincere just told her what she wanted to hear, and Melanie went fine about the day. And it's just like, no, honey, you did not get told what you needed to hear. Well, you didn't get told what you should hear. You got told what you wanted to hear. What you should have been told is what Bea told you, but whatever. And where am I at? Y'all, my eyes. But yeah, like I said, it just gave that she needed to hear what she wanted to hear from Sincere, and again, enabling. I feel like a lot of people in the villa enable Melanie, and that's from episode 5 to episode 9, where we are today. So yeah, but after that, Corbin and Kata have a chat, and she was just saying to Corbin, like, he asked, y'all, it's been a minute since this episode, but he asked Kata for a kiss, and Kata was like, no, honey, like, you're not about to kiss me or whatever. And I'm just tired of Corbin. I feel like he's a really, really try hard. He's very corny, and I'm just cringed about him. Every time I see him on my screen, I get like kind of the ick, respectfully. Then we hopped over to a conversation with Trinity and Corbin. Reminder, Corbin just got in the house. Like, he just came from he was just introduced, so that's why he's having a whole bunch of conversations. Trinity and Corbin chat, they're just talking about family and what's life like to them. No shade, Corbin don't like black women, so that's why the conversation that he has with black women are very short and lackluster, because that's just not his type. And if it is, you can't tell. Sean and Trinity, man, Sean and Trinity are talking about, what things could be like with one another. However, the boundary is Bryce. Like, Trinity is trying to be respecting Bryce, and and Trinity is trying to respect Kenzie. So it's like they're trying to respect each other, not step on anyone's toes, I guess you can say. And that's kind of what the hindrance was in their relationship. So just keep this in mind. Keep that conversation in mind. So the conversation really didn't go anywhere, but they had it at least. So next morning, everybody kissing, like throughout the night kissing. I'm like, has anybody kissed this much in the past seasons? Like, these folks be kissing. But Kenzie was doing so much stretching. She was doing all this stretching in front of oh wait, I skipped a few things. Okay, let's go back. KC made breakfast for Anaya. Kanaya, we up. Hell yeah. Shout out my peoples. Was it anything that happened that made me say that? No, I don't know, but I just love Kanaya. So Anaya and Kenzie catching up with the tea, because Anaya always got the tea. And she caught Kenzie up about Corbin and his player tactics. And I thought that was real good, because somebody needed to tell Kenzie that this man be playing on everybody, especially how he was just kissing you and then he went straight to Kata like, can I kiss you too? And like, in the sense, I guess you can say that's their job as bombshells, but I feel as if you just kissed all these girls in the challenge. Like, do you need to kiss them again, like right now, just to feel? And he, I don't remember how our kiss was. I need you to remind you. Boy, that shit is lame as hell. Basura, trash, boo, lame, tomato. So Anaya and Kenzie have a meditation class. That was so funny. So, and back to what I was saying, Kenzie was doing all that stretching in front of Gabrielle because at the time they potentially had like something brewing. I'm like, Kenzie girl, you doing all that stretching in front of Gabrielle because you trying to show off. But Corbin and Kenzie, so she checked him about the kissing. My girl Kenzie gonna check somebody. And Kenzie, he apologized or whatever, said, I got a little too excited. And that's the only thing. But, and I'm just like, girl, that boy is lying to you and he good at it and you're good at believing it. But whatever. And Kenzie was just like, I just don't want to be fed bullshit, which completely is understandable. So I love that. I was here for that. And who was Kenzie's original couple? Zach. So that's why she's like, I really don't want to be fed BS. And it's so funny because you never see Kenzie and Zach talk ever since. Like, I think it's so funny. But so we moved to a chat between Mel and Bea, and it was a good chat for the most part. Bea was like, I don't want it to have animosity throughout the villa. I don't want us to walk around with that and make it weird. Like, it's just not that deep. And Mel did tell her, like, I felt like what you did was disrespectful. And, she was just like, I just really needed you to understand, like, how it came off and, why I thought it was wrong. And what I wrote down, not Sienna Spyro, because they were singing, they were playing Die on This Hill with their conversation. And I'm like, that is not the song for this conversation. I'll take my pride. Not the song for the conversation. But shout out my girl Sienna Spyro. Her album come out July 12th. Yes, I will be listening. Shout out The Visitor. But Bea feels like she has to be so strong, and that's how she's been and that's what she's been taught. So it's extremely hard to be sensitive. I wrote this because Mel they kind of segued the conversation and was just talking about, like, Bea was saying to Melanie, like, I admire how feminine that you're able to be and, like, very sensitive. Like, I didn't know you were that sensitive. And, I don't think she was saying it in a bad way this time, but I think she was just acknowledging that you are very more deep into your feelings and you're more great at expressing them than other people as in herself. And I think I said it in my last video, or I said it on one of my TikTok videos. I'll be posting daily recaps of everything that goes on my TikTok. So go follow my TikTok, The Mark Davis Jr. Yes, go follow that. We talk about every episode of Love Island. And I might even do one for After Sun today, because I think After Sun is a good thing. And you missing it if you're not watching it. And we got 2 new hoes. So shout out to Sierra and Teffy. So anyway, so yeah, they would talk, and like I was saying, athletes, I ran track in middle school and high school. I mean, I'm 25 now, but our coaches were very hard on us. Like they said, they don't talk to you, they talk at you. Like, and they're cussing at you. They don't care for that soft stuff, none of that. Like, you need to be hard body because that track don't care about you, that your competitors don't care about you. No, you need to be hard body, none of that crying shit, none of that soft shit, because that's not gonna win you no medals. That's their mindset. So that's why I said Bea and Sincere were very, like, robotic and emotion wise. Like, they don't really express their emotions. They kind of quickly just chin up. Like, he said that to Anaya, we'll get there, but, like, chin up, don't cry, you'll be all right, cool. But because Bea feels like she isn't feminine enough for men, and, like, they had a really good chat about that. But Mel said something that I really, really liked, and I agreed with. She said, so many of us are dealing with so many insecurities in the villa, and that is true, especially because so many of them are young. And I'm not saying the older you get, the less insecurities you have. No, that's not true. But a lot of them are young, and when you're younger, that's when you are really kind of in your 20s. You're navigating your insecurities, knowing more about yourself. I'm here, so, like, I completely understand. Some of these people are navigating trauma, navigating heartbreak, navigating triggers in this villa on national television. Like, that's already hard enough. But anywho, but I did put everybody is fake. And let me tell you why I said that. Because Melanie and Corbin then has a chat. And what pissed me off, and this is why I don't be having, that is so bad English. This is why I don't have much sympathy for Melanie and the drama she causes, because she says one thing but does a complete other. So she's talking to Corbin and she's like, yeah, I had everybody a little upset when I pushed you for a chat. Well, not everybody, but a certain person. That's messy. But you just had a conversation with Shorty talking about, you are feminine, you are sensitive. That's fake as hell. And I hope Bea checked that in the After Sun episode. Oops. Well, you already know. If you're watching this, you already know Bea went home. So, but anywho, Sincere talks to Anaya about Mayo, and I wrote, Anaya gotta stop being kumbaya mommy and give the real. And I'm saying this because from these couple of conversations, Anaya is the one giving Sincere and Melanie the advice, but I don't feel like she's giving them real advice. But again, we don't know what they see in that villa. We know what we see in that villa. But what we see, baby, Anaya, you giving them bad advice. You're enabling both of their behaviors and not telling them that they're doing wrong. But Anaya eventually clocked their ass, so we'll get there eventually. But Mel and Sincere have a chat and say, as a couple, we're built-in friends, because he was upset. Like, I really didn't feel like I didn't really fool with how you said, talk to me as a friend. And he was like, as a couple, we're built-in friends, which I agree. You should start off as friends and then become partners. Y'all are best friends, all of that. I agree with that. Relationships foundation should be friendships, because that'll last you more. That'll change a lot throughout your relationship, because that love that you have for this person as a friend will guide you through a lot. So I agree with that. So my favorite part of this episode, Casey and Anaya, they have a chat, and the conversation was very abrupt, but I think something had happened to where Casey felt like he needed to tell Anaya this or something of that nature. But Casey is expressing to Anaya how she's the blueprint, how he loves black women, reinforcing how she feels as a black woman, as a woman, telling her like, I love melanin. I love that, especially on national television, because as much as, no matter what, yes, season 6, we had 2 African-American people win the show. Yes, season 7, we had Alandria, who were in the top 2. However, it is so hard. And I'm not saying it's not harder for other races, but I'm speaking for my race specifically. It is very hard being black in the national television, because they're going to give you that edit. If you speak up, you're gonna be the mean girl. If you say something, they're gonna depict you to be something else, so everybody can jump on that bandwagon that you're mean, that you're nasty, whatever. And I love that he said that to her, because who knows what's going on. We can kind of see that when people come in the villa, they're not attracted to Anaya, or they're not, kind of, oh, let me go pull her for a chat. And I don't know if it's because people's interest maybe is just not in her or whatever, but also nobody is being sent in there that Anaya's gonna pull. So maybe Anaya will pull someone in there, someone is sent in there that looks like her or things of that nature. So I just love that overall conversation. I think that was beautiful for us to watch. But of course, you got people who always got something to say on the internet, and they picked apart the conversation. Casey is so performative. Go find a cliff and throw a rock off, of course. But I love that. Then we get to Kata and Corbin. They have another chat about their potential connection. And she tells him again, like, you have to work for this, because I'm not easy. Love my New Hampshire baddie. His ass talking about, so is a kiss still on the table? Wasn't you just telling Kenzie, like, I'm a move different, I'm sorry for what I did? Messy. You're a liar. Cringy, corny Corbin. Bryce and Trinity talk, and I put This was episode 5. I don't think Trinity liked him for real. Moving forward, well, not moving forward, what we know now, she actually did like him, but I think you could just see her hesitations in him because she wanted more affection, but I think she was just comparing their relationship to everybody else's in the villa. Corbin gets a text. Well, no, Kata gets a text, and it's a recoupling, and the girls are picking. Corbin gets a text. He gets a text that he has to pick first in the recoupling, and he can't tell the boys or the girls first. This is when I knew Sean was going home. This is when I knew. Ariana is here, and she looked like she finna pop shit. Oh my gosh, she had like this one, it looked like this one jumps. I don't know how to explain it, but she looked so good. Ariana announces the text Corbin received and that he picks first. So here are the final couples. Corbin and Kenzie, and this I put Sean Cook, bro. Anaya and Casey. Casey facial expressions is so funny, and the things Anaya was saying about Casey was just so beautiful. Mel and Sincere, and I wonder if she picked him because Corbin was already taken, especially within like the turmoil that Sincere and Melanie was going through in that episode, but whatever. Kata and Zach, Beatriz and Gabrielle, and Trinity and Bryce. And like I said, bro, fuck, I'ma miss Sean. So yeah, it was just so sad because Trinity had to pick between Bryce and Sean. And if I remind you, in the conversation that they had, Sean didn't do much exploring with her because they were trying to respect Bryce and Kenzie. But since Corbin picked Kenzie, I was like, Sean, it's in Trinity's hands. And then we saw that Kenzie said she was going to pick Corbin because, you know, she felt like, you know, I don't know why she was going to pick Corbin. I don't remember, but I'm just like, girl, you've been with Sean, like, not with him, but like y'all been kind of building y'all connection for a couple of days and you just picked Corbin because he just came in here, but whatever. Corny Corbin. But y'all was so sad because I really like Sean. I really think his person was Beatriz, but you know, if she doesn't want to be with him, what are we gonna do? Force that? No, that's not what this is. But I just really appreciate Sean's contribution to that villa. He was extremely mature and grounded. I mean, being a father, you would think someone was gonna be a lot more mature. You're taking care of a child, but he was just so mature, so attentive, so caring, so intentional, and you could see how a lot of people gravitated him for advice, and he gave great advice. He did not tell you what you wanted to hear. He did not tell you what my opinion is. He gave advice, unbiased and not from what he would do. He gave advice, and I'm gonna miss Sean. Sean is amazing, lovely, and I really hope he finds his person. But Sean, by chance, I don't think you are. But if you're into, you know, men by any chance, call me. I'm just playing. But yeah, that was episode 5. So let's get into episode 6. Now, let's get into episode 6. So episode 6, this is following the recouplings and the dumping of Officer Sexy Pants. So Corbin talking about I had the power in my hands. I could have picked anybody. Next, Trinity and Bryce talk. Mel and Sincere talk. Nia and Casey talk. I put at the time that, again, this is episode 6. I feel like Casey definitely likes Anaya more than she likes him, but she does like him. I just feel like she's taking him for granted a little bit. And the reason I said that, I think, was because you can tell like she was just seeming a little reserved, but that broke away. So yeah, don't worry about that. I'm on. Kata and Zach talk. Gabrielle and Bea talked, and I appreciate their connection, and it was so funny because he kicked her by accident, and she like It's okay, I can't feel it. Like, girl, stop. You so funny. But so we get to the next morning. The guys cook breakfast for their girls. Bea and Gabe talks, and he was asking what he can do better on, and she says that she just wants to know him more, you know, on a personal level. So I thought that was really cute and beautiful to hear. Sincere and Anaya chat. Sincere got picked by Mel, and he's head over heels already, and I'm like, boy, you just forgot everything that just happened? Oh, okay, cool, whatever, stand up. But you know, again, whatever. Kata and Zach chat, nothing happened. Trinity, Kenzie, and Bea talks. Bea is concerned that Gabrielle is into her until someone else comes. She foreshadowed the life up out of that. Kenzie is just head over heels over corny, cringy Corbin. Trinity likes Kenzie with Corbin, but she wants her to find that cowboy. Well, honey, he's coming. That's what I put, because again, we saw the first look at the upcoming episode. So I was like, girl, he's coming. Trinity and Bryce talk while she files his nails. She painted his nails pink. It was cute. KC and Anaya chat, my Kanaya, my clients. They're talking about the future, potentially taking a leap of faith. He just feel like his life is just starting. Basically, he never has left Fresno, California. And you can kind of tell that with Casey. Casey just is a nerd. He seems very nerdy, like a nerdy boy who just happened to be fine as hell. Like, that's Casey. And very sweet, surrounded by good people. That's Casey in a nutshell. So that's what it is. And I was like, oh, I love that. Kenzie and Corbin, I put get this corny off my screen because that's all I got. Kenzie gets a text that the villa will host a slumber party. The ladies are wearing lingerie and the males are wearing boxers or shorts. My favorite host of all time, Ariana Maddox, comes in. She looks gorgeous in this pink ensemble that she has. So let's get into the slumber party, because this was messy. So the slumber party starts off like this. The boys will be locked at the headboard with what the thing's called? Handcuffs. The girls will be blindfolded and armed with paint color. So, you know, they will have to rely on touch or chemistry to feel for their man. They can kiss whoever, you know, as they go through the line of men, and they will leave paint color to see where, you know, where you've been and who you've been with. And of course, after it's over, people can say what color they were. When they think they figured it out, they will lock in by using the handcuffs, and the girls will handcuff to their man. First up is Trinity. My girl kissed Gabrielle. She kissed KC, but she's going down the line. So, you know, it's not like she just picked, oh, I'm going here, she can't see. But she kissed Gabrielle, she kissed KC, she kissed Zach, she kissed Bryce, and she was like, this is my man, period. Turtle tongue. If you don't know, that's what Kenzie calls him. Second, we get to Melanie. Melanie is great for TV, but boy, is she messy. She kissed KC, she kissed Zach, and she hopped off him real fast. This is not mine. Remember that. Melanie and Trinity kiss. Shout out Pride Month. Period, baby. Shout out Pride Month. She then kisses Sincere, and she didn't know it was him. You know, the man who got the longest hair in the villa, male-wise. You didn't know it was him? Whose hair is put up in a ponytail? Specifically because they told him, do not put your hair down because they will know it's you. This ain't Sincere. Okay. So after she kisses Sincere and didn't know it was him, you know who's next to Sincere? Corbin. How ironic. And she goes to Corbin. Then she goes to Sincere. Corbin. Sincere. Corbin. Sincere. Corbin. I put Sincere leave that woman. Sincere leave that woman. I'm gonna get into their relationship, but I'll talk about it later. So she finally realizes that it's Sincere, and mind you, the guys can see. So they're just looking like, bro, that's crazy. And at some point I would've like moved away from the kiss, like, stop kissing me. But then we get to Kenzie. She kisses Gabrielle, she kisses Corbin, and she's like, that's my man. So, but she was feeling for people. No. I'm tripping. she kisses Corbin and she just knew that was her man. But she also kissed Bryce or whatever, but she knew that was him. But as Kenzie is doing some kissing, we meet Soul. Soul is a new bombshell. She's gorgeous. Soul is from California. I don't really remember a lot of facts about Soul, but I do know that she is from California, and I think Soul is around 22. I think Soul is 22, but Soul is from California and she is so pretty. I think she is gorgeous and I love the name Soul. Like, I first was introduced to the name because of wrestling and Soul Ruka, and I just know Soul means sun, and I love that Soul has the sun tattoo on her neck, T. So Soul enters and she has red paint. So when Soul enters, she kisses everybody, but she specifically liked her kisses with Sincere, Corbin, and Casey the most. And what was so funny when where did I put that at? I put that on somewhere. When Kenzie was kissing, she heard time out, give me a second. All right, I'm back. I remember where I'm at. So anyway, after Soul kissed the people, she literally went down the line and kissed everybody. She leaves. So she leaves, but again, the boys can see Soul, but the girls don't know what's going on. Or they can potentially hear, but we don't know nothing because they aren't reacting to it. So, yeah. So after that, we get the bed of threes and she kisses KC and then she kisses Gabriel, and she just knew, like, that's my man, because Gabriel kissed with all that dang on tongue. So she just knew it was him. Then we get to Kata, and Kata kisses nobody. My girl was struggling. She was struggling. And while she's struggling, a new bombshell enters. We meet Jen from 23 years old, and she is from Florida. And Jen kisses Casey. She kisses Corbin, and I put Corbin love him some white woman, child. Sincere liked that kiss with Jen, and I put, this is where I said, hold on 1 second. Side note, when Jen kissed Corbin, Kenzie said, I know that's not Kata. So Kenzie knows something up. Shout out Kenzie, my girl be knowing. She was like, I just know something up. And last but not least, we get to Naya. My girl A. Anaya went through the guys and was like, touch not my man, not my man, not my man. She got to KC, that's my man. Yeah, she ain't kissed nobody. And people been saying like they feel like Anaya folks and KC folks said, why are you on this show? Don't embarrass us. That's period. Cause don't get on here and show your ass. Black people, child, love them. But so the girls take their blindfolds off and everyone finds everyone correctly. So shout out to the Islanders. And when Ariana asked Mel what was the hardest part, she said, I really had fun. Yeah, honey, we know you did. Mel calls it out also and was like, whose red paint is this? Because you can see, all the colors that everyone left from their, like I said, they were armed with paint, so you can see who had what color. And they're like, whose red paint is this? And Ariana's like, oh, but before that, KC reminds me of like when you at your friend's house, but they get in trouble by their parents, and you just sitting in the room like, what do I do while you getting yelled at? Casey talking about maybe the colors mix.
Colors mixing made red.
Casey, shut your ass up. And Anaya looking like, boy, what? And then Ariana introduces like, oh, I know that you guys see red paint. That's because meet the new bombshells. They were kissing y'all man while y'all was going down the line. That's why you see the red paint. Girls was pissed. Girls were pissed. And then as the bombshells walk in, Bryce briefly says that he knows Jen. And Trinity's just like, oh, okay. Like, can't wait to find out how. So KC, Ariana asked KC, how do you feel? KC says blessed. And Anaya's like, that was not funny, Casey. And he was like, blessed to see my girl, blessed to be with my girl. And Better 3 is just like, wrong answer. And it was. Very much so. Ariana introduces the male bombshell. And of course, Manipulative Millie goes absolutely batshit crazy. I put she a bird and her ass in the damn way like always. I feel bad for saying that because it ain't that deep, but she was in the way, and Trinity and Kenzie Trinity and Kata was like, Melanie, back up. I put Corbin finna be gone, but girl, he ain't going nowhere. So Caleb comes down and kisses Kenzie, and Melanie just jumping up and down, so excited. And she was excited because she's like, my girl finally got her cowboy. But at the same time, you're doing all of this while you locked up to your connection. It can come off completely differently. So yeah. He kisses Melanie, he kisses Trin, he kisses Kata. Zach says Kata was enjoying it way too much, and it was hilarious. But then he kisses Anaya. Anaya, you can just see it on her face. She was so pissed about Casey. And then he kisses Better 3s, and then that's the end of episode 6. There was also a part that I did not like, so I'm gonna address it. When Anaya was about to kiss Corbin, he looked so disgusted, and it pisses me off because, again, like, it's evident he does not like black women. But to see that disgust, that's exactly why KC said what he said. And for y'all to be like, it's performative. No, baby. He said that because clearly she was feeling insecure about the lack of love and attention she was getting from people, and she potentially probably could have wondered if it's because of the way I am, my skin color, and things like that. But it's okay. Your man KC in there, and he love you. Yeah. But let's hop to episode 7. My favorite number of all time, as you can see, 777. Well, that's backwards, but anyway, episode 7, child. The aftermath. The aftermath of that challenge. So the boys chat with Jen and Soul, and they're just getting with her and everything. And Sincere says him and Melanie have an interesting connection, because she was asking, how's everybody's connection and everything. And interesting is not the best word you can use to describe that. Interesting that's not enough to describe that, but that was enough for Soul to see her way through there. So the girls are chatting with Caleb. He is 21 years old. What Alandria say? Oh my gosh, you a baby. You still got breast milk on your breath. Yeah, very much so. 21 years old is crazy. But Kenzie was like, I'm screaming, but take off the ass. Like, girl, please. Trinity is playing wing woman. Like, she was trying to hook up that real good, and I love that. Kenzie says Caleb feels like home, and Anaya is letting the girls know that what Casey did really pissed her off. And I put a video out on my TikTok. I will insert it after I'm about to say what I'm about to say. And it was just me talking about production and Kanaya. So let me play that video for you. Okay, so this video is about my predictions with Kanaya, aka Casey and Anaya. So follow me here. I might be a little reaching, but follow me. In season 6, the big love story or stories were everything surrounded PPG. Shout out my PPG girls and PPGM, Cordell and Miguel. Season 7, the big love story was, no shade, Nick and Alandria. It was not Ace and Shelly, Garage and Jeremiah. Yes, it was not that. That was just the mess and the drama that we're kind of seeing now. Cool, whatever. Season 8. The big love story at the end of the season is going to be Casey and Anaya. And I wonder if production is painting that story,
or helping move the narrative with that story. So when this season is over, we are walking away. People are doing the interviews. Tell us about your love story. We love watching your love grow. And again, y'all, I know these are real people. However, this is also Peacock and fucking NBC, a big conglomerate, a big network who just had 2 amazing seasons. So, baby, they gonna do what they gotta do to get another 3rd one. So, in the beginning, when God created heaven and earth, in the beginning, we all loved Casey. Majority of us, enough of us. And we loved Anaya, but I feel like we loved KC more than we loved Anaya. Now, I feel like it's swapped or balanced. Now, I feel like we all love Anaya and KC, or we love Anaya a little more now because of what KC did with the red paint, all that bullshit. But now I'm like, okay, y'all had y'all conversation and all of this shit. America is behind y'all. What are they gonna do to fuck some shit up? We already got an ex that looked like one of KC old exes. Now are we gonna get an ex that looked like Anaya, one of Anaya old exes? What's gonna happen? Casa Moore is gonna come up eventually. Like, what are we gonna have next that is a part of their big trilogy, their big story of love? Do y'all follow me, or am I fucking crazy?
Yeah, like, I really feel like, just reiterating what I said, I just really feel like they know that's the couple everybody wants to win. So let's give them a couple that you can follow after this season. And these little moments right here are going to be the reason why people vote for them weeks from now. So just remember that. And if I'm right, I know a little something. But overall, the girls are just bothered by all of that. They're just bothered. They're upset and pissed on how the boys were just acting. Trinity and Bed Threes give the new Bombshells a tour, and I love that, especially, like, I never want the Bombshells to feel so but like dismissed from everybody else. So I'm glad that the girls did that. The Bombshells chat to themselves. So Caleb, Jen, and Soul chat, and Soul lets them know that her top 3 kisses were Corbin, KC, and Sincere. So Melanie and Sear have a chat, and Sincere states that he feels very disrespected about what Melanie was doing in the challenge, the jumping up and down, the kissing back and forth, all of that, and she states that she did not know that was Corbin. I also did not know that today, it's Saturday. I also did not know 1 + 1 = 2. Girl, how you ain't know that was Corbin? How you ain't know that was Sincere? Girl, you knew that was Sincere. Please. Girl, you knew that was Corbin in my Cardi B voice. But whatever. He said, have your fun and explore, but if you're here to play a game, don't play it with me. Boy, but you've been playing games. But we're right here is where we meet a different version of Sincere, where we now meet Insincere. Whatever. So, I guess she was like, I guess I understand the reason she was jumping for joy for Kenzie. She was excited there. Her girl was finally about to, get her cowboy that she was looking for. But, it's a time and a place. And when you in a relationship, you gotta think of how some things might affect your partner. And I don't think she was thinking that. So we get to Anaya and KC. She was just like, the scene of red. It was so funny because Ian said something about like Anaya seeing red and something like, and not just, seeing red like I'm pissed, but like seeing red because Casey had all that red over him. I thought that was funny. Ian been eating. That's a tongue twister. Ian has been eating this season on the punchlines and the jokes. But Casey was honest with Anaya. About the exploring or whatever or not, and he understood how he made Anaya feel when he used the example of he said you didn't give me a reason to be stressed over Corbin, and she was like, exactly, now you're giving me a reason to be stressed over Soul. But Anaya felt like he really didn't reassure her from the conversation, and that's why she was still a little weary about their conversation and their connection. Like I said, I think this is like the first valley that we're getting, will heal, I guess, pothole, whatever you want to call it, for Anaya and KC. I feel like this is the first, and like we saw earlier, KC said that she looks like his ex. So knowing how petty production potentially could be, they probably sent someone in that they probably know your exes and things of that nature. You probably have to send that stuff in. I don't know what a Love Island application looks like and what they ask, but we are thinking like, that was on purpose to try to trip that relationship up, and it's kind of working, but not really. So then we get to Zach and Kata, and Zach expresses how he feels about Kata's performance with Caleb, and I don't even remember what he was talking about, but I do know that he just told Jen that they was closed off, and I'm like, what? No, y'all not. But anyway, I don't remember what they were talking about. I really don't be paying attention to Zach, but I do love my New Hampshire baddie. But overall, you can tell that everybody is catching feelings, and the boys felt like the girls did too much. So whatever. We moved to the next morning. A couple people are having chats. Bea and Caleb chat. They ain't talk about nothing. Sol and Gabrielle chat. They talked about dream dates, and they was in Soul Ties talking, and Soul Ties is crazy. If you know, you know. Shout out to KK. And they kissed, and Anaya peeped that they were kissing, and like I think Beatrice peeped it too. But it was so funny because Soul was just like, when I kiss people, I can just feel some things. She was like, it's something about that man. And it was so funny because we're like, girl, yeah, that boy just be kissing on everybody. But anyway, Trinity and Bryce talk, and Bryce is like, he's talking about Sincere and Melanie, because it was so funny because before they went to bed, he was talking to Trinity and was like, she knew that was Sincere and Corbin. She knew what she was doing, and Trinity's like, boy, be quiet. Like, it was so funny. But he brought it back up, like, Bryce is like, how the fuck you ain't know that was Corbin from Sincere? Like, it was funny, but you see that they're talking about their connection and things of that nature, and exploring and things, and you can see within their relationship they have very good, open, and honest communication. So we move to Sincere and Anaya. Sincere talks about how he felt disrespected by Melanie, and it kind of gave trauma bond. Like, you vent your piece, I vent my piece. And we're like, oh my God, yes, we both feel the same way. We both feel disrespected by our partners. Yes. Trauma bond. That's literally what it gave. But Sincere is so sports coded. Like, he was like, chin up, keep your head up, don't cry. Like, chin up, be strong. Again, that's that track mindset. They don't allow you to be soft because they tell you you can't be. So that's why I think he said that. I'm like, boy, why are you out here reciting poems and lyrics and whatever the hell else? I was just like, it's unnecessary to do that right now, but go off, Mr. Sincere. Mel and KC chat, and he keeps it real with her. Two people in this villa keeps it real with Melanie. Beatrice and KC. Shout out to them. So he's just like, look, I'm gonna be real with you. You knew you was in that challenge playing. You knew you was playing. And I was like, that's so funny because I'm glad somebody said it. She was like, I swear I didn't know it was them two. I swear. Girl, whatever. You said you didn't know. But honey, girl, whatever. But I was like, again, this is why I love KC. Even though right now I want to slap him up the head for saying he was blessed in that challenge. But this is why I love KC. But Zach and Kata talk, and he feels like he closed himself off, and he expresses it to her. And Kata feels like Zach is kind of pulling away, especially within this conversation. And she wonders if it's because, the new bombshell Jen is here. So they just had a conversation where they kind of reset the relationship of what they are, and just continue to be open and honest within their communication. Zach and Jen chat, and they're talking over music. That Jen is a Taylor Swift fan, and Zach is a One Direction fan. So whatever. And I think she said something like, "Oh my gosh, you kind of look like Zayn." Oh, okay. Gabrielle and Bea talk. I don't remember what they talked about, so I didn't put it on there. Kata and Caleb chat, and did they kiss? No, I don't know what they did, but I do know they were in soul ties, and I'm like, soul ties is crazy. Shout out KK. But Sincere and Soul chat, and they're talking about family and upbringing, bonding. They're bonding over hair. Sincere loves her hair, Soul loves his hair. Then they kiss. I'ma literally screenshot what I put in here. I put that shit. I said they kiss, and oh my God, that shit was nice. Oh my goodness, bitch. Oh baby, they got it. And not once, they kissed twice. That kiss gave I with my partner in the rain in a romantic film. Oh my God, it was so good. I said, oh, y'all ate that. 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 And right here, I'm like, okay, I'm rooting for this. Like, I'm rooting for this. Right there, that's when I said that. My opinion changed. But Mel is low-key kind of, I don't want to say crashing out, but she's low-key, she's going through her emotions right now with the rest of the villa, and she agrees that she is self-sabotaging. Like, they're talking about it, and KC is like, well, that's what you're doing. You're self-sabotaging right now. And again, let's go back for a second. When Sincere pulled Kata for a chat, and him and Melanie talked about that, where even though him and Sincere and Kata are talking about dogs, but ever since then, we saw a different version of Melanie. And then after Melanie pulled all of that stuff with Corbin and Caleb, we see a whole different Sincere. And it's just like, you know, I say their whole connection is a domino effect. And it's quite annoying to watch because it's a whole bunch of people enabling a toxic relationship. And that's annoying, but whatever. So, Corbin and Kenzie talk, and every time I hear Corbin talk, I really just get annoyed. It's not his accent, it's not whatever. It's just, he's so horny and corny. Simple. Kenzie expresses that Caleb is definitely her type, and you know, she will explore like respectfully and that a little bit, but she's just do like, you know, but I do have feelings for you, so like that's where I'm kind of at. So Anaya and Casey talk again, and why Sincere and Anaya were chatting. Sincere told Anaya, like, you know, and Casey did tell us that, you know, Soul looks like his ex. He didn't have to say that, especially to a vulnerable woman right now that's vulnerable because of the bombshell, and you're telling her, oh yeah, this bombshell also looks like your connection's ex. And she was like, he said, but don't tell him I told you that. He like, oh yeah, you know, I know. So Casey and Anaya chat. She's like, you didn't reassure me, la la la, and I know that look like your ex. I'm like, girl, you can hold that in. But she was just really expressing how much she likes Casey and wants to be straightforward with her. And Casey says that his foundation with her is more important than something over a day. He reassured her and walks away after a great conversation with each other, and they're hugging, kissing, holding hands. He's like, y'all, we back. Shout out Kanaya, I love y'all. But gear up because production finna mess with y'all. I feel it. Anyway. So we get to the nighttime, and side note, Mel has never cared to fix things with Sincere until she felt competition. That's what I wrote, and I still stand by that. I said Kata looks good. She had this black outfit on with these black like high heels. Ooh, it was cute. Like it was so cute. All the girls look good. And Jen and Gabrielle, he's talking to her in Spanish, Portuguese, and says something like, you know, teaching her, look at me, give me a smile and a kiss. Corny. But I was like, that was better than freaking whatever Corbin be pulling. But Corbin is corny and Gabrielle is horny. Together they make horny and corny. But anyway, Bea's talking with each other at the table and a couple of the islanders, and like, you know, I'm confident with myself. Whatever happens. If somebody come here and take Gabrielle, he was never my man. period. She also said somewhere, it might have been in another episode or this one, but she said, I compete for medals. I don't compete for men. Clock it. So Kenzie and Caleb talk, and they're talking about Kenzie's connection with with Corbin. But she's talking with Caleb of like, when I look at you, like I'm mesmerized, like, they got the same signs, similar personalities. She wants this farmland fantasy. They both kind of resonate with that, and they share a kiss. And I'm like, y'all are actually a really cute couple. Like, I like that for each of y'all. And I just think Kenzie could possibly be a lot for Caleb. Caleb seems very chill and reserved, and Kenzie is. So I'm like, we'll see how that goes. But Sincere and Soul, they are talking again. They're talking again. Soul feels like a breath of fresh air. That's what Sincere says. They like one another, and here's where almost mess happens. As they're kissing, Mel walks through the door, but she doesn't see the kiss. She gets up right in time, and I was talking to my friend, I'm like, if Melanie actually walking on that kiss, that's production. But I'm like, in the first look, it made it seem like as she did, but I'm like, that ain't happen for real. That's just, marketing drama to make people be excited to watch the episode. And that's exactly what happened. So she walked in just in time. And what else did I put? And I said, I think he needs to be upfront about their kiss. But I think he kind of was lying about their kiss because he didn't want to tell her much, because she possibly would have, did what she did in the past. So Corbin, Bea, KC, and Anaya chat about Melanie and Sincere, and, Bea was being real, and she said Mel is the damn problem. Her communication, how she just, go off or whatever. And I put Anaya is so damn team. It's so team sincerely Mel, that she's being oblivious. Like we're talking, and Casey's like, yeah, you are the odd one out. Like you don't see what we're seeing because you're refusing yourself to see it. But she realized that she was biased and only seeing things one way. Finally, we end off the episode with Melanie and Sincere's talking with Melanie and saying like, we did kiss, but it was just a kiss. It wasn't nothing too serious. It was just a kiss. And he was lying, and I really don't fool with that but watching it seemed very uncomfortable. It seemed like Sincere is afraid of Melanie, afraid to, explore and say that confidently to her, because he feel like, well, dang, am I gonna get yelled at or something? And that's what it gave. But I really still feel like you trying to protect Melanie's feelings is disrespecting Soul and disrespecting Melanie. But it is what it is. But again, I said, ever since that last episode or whatever, we saw a different version of Sincere. And I feel like Sincere originally brought out a different version of Melanie, and Melanie brought out a different version of Sincere. Again, it is a domino effect in this connection, in this relationship. But yeah, so from here, we are told that we, America, get the chance to vote for who we think the bombshells to be with. So, who should Jan be with? I voted Gabrielle. I will talk about that later. I voted Gabrielle because I wanted him to get far away from Bea, because my girl don't deserve that. And I put Soul with Sincere because I think there was potential there and opportunity and potential promise. Then I put Caleb with Kenzie because that was the easiest one to vote for. But we really don't find out those results until episode 9 because we broke the dang app. It was said we had more than 1 million views than the final vote of season 7. So yeah, we ate that. And all pun intended, because let's get into episode 8. Episode 8 is a lot. It's a lot to watch. It's a lot to consume. So bear with me as I talk about this episode. It's a lot. But You could tell it was a episode that kind of just had to, figure out something to do, because originally in this episode we were supposed to get the results, but we didn't get those until episode 9. So we're gonna get through this. So we see in the beginning, Melon and I are talking, and she speaks about Soul and Sincere's kiss. Anaya, and I put Anaya Slick being enabling male's behavior, and Melanie said, I'm tired of everyone making me feel like I did the most absolute worst shit when I didn't. Okay. I don't even know what to say. I can't. I literally, give me 10. Just give me fucking 10. Sincere, Bryce, and Zach talk. Sincere says that he felt like he's, that's the best kiss that he had in here, or haven't felt anything like that since he's gotten here, but you downplaying it in front of Melanie. But the confessions didn't lie. Oh, okay. And I put, literally, my opinion, I'm tired of this connection, because again, it's toxic, it's full of lies. It literally gives high school, and I don't have time for it. And you're not gonna catch me comparing seasons together and stuff, but this relationship literally reminds me of Huda and Jeremiah. It's not what they went through, how the world reacted to it. What I mean, everybody enabled it. Oh, this, that, and the third. We should not have let that continue any further. We need to stop romanticizing toxic relationships, because now Miss Girl running underneath the garages. We told y'all this. Whatever. Anywho, Kenzie and Corbin chat, and Kenzie was honest and upfront. Shout out my girl for being honest and upfront about her feelings with Caleb. We had good responses from corny, cringy Corbin, and says that when she kissed Caleb, she thought of Corbin. Girl, don't know why. Why are you thinking of corny, cringy Corbin? But whatever. So Trinity and Bryce, we can kind of see that Trinity feels like she's comparing their connection to others, and she just wants them to be more affectionate, when Bryce been feeling like he's been more affectionate. So the conversation kind of made him uncomfortable, and right here is where we kind of see their trajectory of their relationship change. But we will touch on that later. So Bea and Gabrielle talk, and Brea knows that, that hornball get down. Gabrielle tells Bea that he kissed both the bombshells. She's like, okay, well damn. And Bea was under the impression that her and Gabrielle was open to exploring, but not physically open to exploring. So whatever. Well, not whatever, but like, I understand that, but it was just, miscommunication. But I completely understand. I don't know if you need to, and I think that's the impression for a lot of them. You can connect with someone, but you don't have to physically connect with them, because immediately when y'all start physically connecting, now y'all have a romantic, physical, lusting bond. It's a connection. It's not just like romantically, I want to get to know you. It's, I just want to kiss you. Whatever. Let the animosity build. Wait for that challenge. Like, y'all, yeah, whatever. Anyway, so Bea, Trent, and Kata talk, and that's when I was right. It was in the next episode. She was like, I compete for medals and not men. But then all the girls kind of jump in their conversation, and this was like a really cute girl moment, I guess. Like, they just all spilling tea, and like they just screaming, ah! You had Melanie rolling, and they're just like, that's tea for me, that's tea for me. It was just a very, very cute moment. So then we get to Caleb, Zach, Gabrielle, and Bryce, and Gabe tells Gabe tells the boys that he enjoys the kiss with Jen, whatever. And I put, side note, sincere moving, real and sincere. I don't know why I put that, but I put that. And again, domino effect. I hope I don't have to talk much about their relationship, but I know I'm going to, because that was a big, gist of, honestly, these first 9 episodes. But next day, Trent, Anaya, and Kenzie chat. Trent encourages Kenzie to keep exploring with Corbin, but as she's also keep exploring with Caleb. Just, respectfully move within the both of them, but keep both of those options open. And I'm glad Trinity did this. And then Trinity was just expressing the girls what she thinks about Bryce and everything. So Zach and Bryce chats, and I don't like this conversation. I really don't like this conversation. But Bryce expresses his frustrations regarding Trinity's conversations, and all of a sudden he says, I think it's an age thing. You have never mentioned age in quite some time, so I don't understand why you are mentioning it again, but go off. And I said, I don't think Zach is a good friend because he gives biased advice. He said, me, Kata, and you have better combos and understand your jokes rather than you do with her. And, you know, you should, but I'm like, that's fine. Anybody that I've ever dated, I have different relationships with you than you have with my friends, and vice versa. Like, that's perfectly fine. But like I said, I don't think he's a good friend, because if my friend is going to come to me talking about their partner, I'm not going to dog them. I'm going to give you sound advice that you could use to help make a decision for yourself. I'm not going to say stuff like that. I don't know. It just did not give. It gave very much, I never liked her for you, or I don't like her for you. And now I'm planting that in your head to mess up your mind and your relationship. And I didn't fool with that. So and Jen chat, and she tells Jen that she's feeling Sincere the most. Then moving right into it, Melanie and Sincere, Insincere, whatever their names is, the most toxic couple in the Villa chat. Sincere is just, you know, just be lying. And then he gonna say, I'm being honest with you. Anyway, we see a back and forth. Sincere is frustrated because, honestly, she said explore, but now it seems like she's putting limitations on what it means to explore. And again, this is a domino effect of their entire relationship. Since when he pulled Kata for a chat, that's when the domino effect started. And that's how we are here to this day. She's saying you're not gonna have your cake and eat it too. She was kind of going off on him a little bit, and I think that's why Sincere did not tell her how many kisses that he had, or he downplayed the situation, because he knew how she was going to react. Sincere then says, I don't want to explore any soul anymore, knowing he does. And I just said he moving like a lame ass. I feel like Mel is showing some affection in front of Soul on purpose to know that that's hers. And I literally put, I hate watching this shit, because she was hugging and like, I'm so happy, like, you know, you've been in the doghouse, so now I can kiss on you and touch on you now. And she's just doing that. I feel like she was just doing that in front of Soul, just to, you know, make her jealous or show her like, you know, this my property or whatever. It just, I ain't fool with it. Sincere bed threes and Anaya, and I just put Anaya and Mel's friendship is very odd, because I just feel like that's not a good friendship, because if you can't be real with your friend, that's not your friend. Like, you're not being real with her. And I really hate seeing that, because I'm like, Anaya, I think you need to tell her the truth, but I also don't think her eyes were open to their issues individually yet, but they got a little open. Sincere, Zach, Caleb, Gabrielle, and Bryce talks, and they explain to Sincere that, you know, they think you should stay open and whatever. That was it. Kanaya, my people, my clients, I literally put, when I watch them, I just smile, because it's so pure. Like, it's just so beautiful to watch that relationship blossom and continue to grow. Then we get to Sincere and Soul. I'm so tired of saying this man's name, but y'all, we got a lot of talking to do. So Sincere and Soul talk, and Soul tells us about the passing of her father and what the last 2 years of her life looked like. She got stress-induced alopecia, and that's why she shaved her head. I put Sincere seems distracted in his conversation with Soul. You can kind of see he's like, you know, I want to be in tune with this conversation. I want to be engaged, but I'm also thinking of Melanie in the back of my head and how I told her I don't want to explore you anymore. We saw those two clashing of his mind as we were seeing this conversation with him and Soul. But I just put, I don't like how he moves with the both of them. You know, I don't mind explore, but I feel like there's a way you can do it and be respectful. And I feel like the way you're doing it is dirty. And they kiss again after he just said to Melanie, I don't want to explore her, I won't kiss her again, all of that. And I put, I'm all for exploring, but I just think he's moving the wrong way about it for both. And he then is saying in his confessional, you know, I feel like I have to pick one. I have to pick one or the other. Sincere, it's okay, honey. America picked for you. So then we get to Mel, Zach, and Kata. Mel stops by to vent, and she has a lot of anxiety about their relationship. And Zach reassures her, like, you have to just let Sincere be sincere, and you have to, let him explore, and, you'll know what to do from there. And I put side note, notice how KC is never with the guys. Apparently he was giving all them haircuts because everybody was like, notice how KC went missing, everybody came back chopped. But also, hello, little fly. But I thought, and I still do think it, I think KC just moves differently and is not homosexual. And what I mean by that is just a guy that is a yes man with all his boys. It's like, you're around them and your mind change. You're around them and you start, as people say, you start showing out. You acting different. You smelling yourself. You think your shit don't stink. He don't act like that. And another person that moved like that, again, I don't like comparing, but I'm just using it as an example so you can understand. Cordell in season 6, no matter what them boys was telling him, like, leave Serena, like, Serena do this, blah, 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 he never listened. He knew what he wanted in his head, and nobody was gonna sway him or make, add no bugs in his ear to sway about, sway his mind or his decision from anything. And that reminds me of KC. But anyway, Caleb and Kenzie talk, and Kenzie speaks about how she has a connection with Corbin, but she definitely likes Caleb and is interested in continued exploring. Caleb is afraid of getting attached too soon, and it's not working in the end, and that they find out that they both love hard. To me, they are each other's personalities, just one's just probably a little more, energetic than the other. But I think they are the same in the sense of they both are afraid of getting attached and it not working in the end. We see that with Kenzie. She don't like when people play with her feelings or anything. That she said that with Zach, she said that with Corbin, and now she's saying it with Caleb. And they both fall hard. Like, I feel like y'all two are literally the exact same person. So I'm glad that eventually we put y'all together. Then we get to Mel and Corbin, and I only feel like she chatted with him because she's like trying to get her leg back on Sincere or whatever, but they chat and say less, and says she does want to explore right now. And I put, this seems a little desperate, and it seems like when you move too fast to get in another relationship with someone when you are still dealing with trauma from the last one. Like, that whole conversation just felt like let me just talk to you because Sincere and So are currently up there talking right now, and I just, I want to get him off my mind, so let's talk about you. And I'm like, that's what it just gave that. But Corbin wants to kiss Mel because he always want to kiss somebody, and she declines and said, I want to save the kiss respectfully, because she wanted to talk to Kenzie first, and out of respect for Sincere. So she's just like, let's, I want to get to know you more, and then if we do share a kiss, it means more, and it's not just off the back of just because you just want a kiss. And I'm like, period, Melanie, I'm glad you stood on that. So Mel and Anaya then has a chat, and she's talking to Anaya about the chat with Corbin, and she just speaks her frustrations about Sincere's movements and how he been moving, and they like literally up there talking for hours, and she's just like, I don't fool with that. So she's talking and everything, and the people in the village just chilling and lounging around. And Melanie looked like she's about to go interrupt So in Sincere's conversation. And KC stops her, like, he's like, so, like, Sincere, like, he's like, Mel, like, sis, no. And he's reiterating, like, you might walk into something you don't want to see, and overall, it's just not worth it. Like, you don't need that stress. We don't need that stress. Sincere don't need that. Like, it's just not worth it. Like, just way down here. Like, mind your business. Let them do them. And Anaya comes and says she just needs to chill. And she only said that because Beatrice was just like, when Anaya they were talking, and she was like, what's happening? And Anaya was just like, something, communication. She was like, no, Melanie's communication is trash. And that's when she told her, like, tell her she needs to chill, because she was doing a lot. She was very hyperactive on her emotions, and it was just a lot going on. So He asked Anaya to go with her as they're talking and like she's calming down or whatever. And Casey states that Sincere definitely has some explaining to do. But he was like, but sis, I'm not about to let you go outside like that in front of national television. And I shout out Casey for that. He's such a genuine, great man, and I love him for that. Give him the money. Anaya, Casey, and Bea chat, and Bea try her best to console Melanie, but she's just like, I'm not good at consoling people, but she was just telling her like, don't cry, don't worry about Sincere, like, focus on you, whatever, Sincere, like, Sincere. And she's like, I do not know that man. And I'm like, you definitely don't. And I hate, again, y'all are both the cause of everything y'all are going through right now. Y'all are, simply, easily put, but whatever. So, Corbin and Baez talk, and they just talking over sports or whatever, child. She just, trying to explore connections as best as she can. Nothing happened, and you can tell he didn't like her because Corbin had looked somebody in his eyes. He was not paying Baez, and he was not really looking at her eyes, engaging in that conversation. I do not like that man. Kenzie found out that Corbin tried to kiss Melanie, and Melanie told Anaya, but I don't think Anaya told anybody else. We didn't see that or anything. I just think Melanie told someone else and someone told whatever. But it's the villa. Word gonna get around. That place ain't that dang on big. And Kenzie was pissed. She was pissed at Corbin, but she was also pissed at Melanie. So they eventually want to talk. So Melanie and Kenzie chat, and Kenzie does feel away about how things went. I don't really know what to say about that conversation, but I did not like how Kenzie said, like, you need to go put that energy in, like, Sincere or something. I was like, I feel like that was so left field, and that was so wrong of her to say that. Like, I get that you're pissed, and I think she was really pissed because apparently they had sex. Kenzie and Corbin. And people was like, I knew Kenzie was gonna be the first one to give it up. I didn't want to say it, but I did too. And yeah, that was that relationship, but they made up, but you can tell Kenzie still kind of feel eerie about it, but whatever. So then we get to Sincere and Bryce, and Bryce has become the new Sean. I've said they come to him a lot, but he can never be Sean. Bryce says he wants to pull Kata. I have no clue why he wants to pull Kata for a chat. That girl already curved you the first time in bed. No, stay over there. And you want to go talk to her again anyway. So Bryce then goes says something to Zach, and he expresses that he wants to pull Kata, and Zach literally laughs, like, because he thought he heard a joke, because it was a joke. But he's like, go for it. I'm confident in the connection that we have. Basically, go for it. But boy, she ain't wasting no time with you. And Bryce says he just feels like, Bryce says he feels like he's not that interested in Trinity, and Zach agrees. And well, no, he feels like Trinity's not that interested in him, and Zach agrees. But I find this stupid when Trinity has reassured you so many times that she actually likes you and that she's actually interested in you. So I don't understand why you sitting here saying you don't feel like that girl like you. Weird. But whatever. Side note, Trinity looks good. My girl looked good tonight. Yes, I love Trinity so much. Trinity, you can, I don't know if she's maturing in this villa or something, but like, I'm seeing a growth of her in some way, shape, and form. Like, I don't know, but I love it. I love it. And then we end off Trinity and Bryce chat, and he let her know, like, I might pull Kata for a chat. And he asked how she feels, and she said, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not fucking with that. Here's the clip.
I'm not fucking with it. No.
And I agree, like, especially after she's been communicating with you and reassuring you that she's serious about this relationship and that she's excited for where it's going and things of that nature. I didn't understand why you felt the need to pull, but I just felt like your boys got in your head. You felt like, you were putting all your eggs in one basket, whatever. Your doubts were coming out. And when Trinity was comparing herself and you to the rest of the villa, you said it was an age thing. So what is this now? An age thing? Is that what this is? Or or Zach in your head, whatever, I don't care. But that was episode 8. Let's get into episode 9, because episode 9 literally gave me a headache after I watched it. It was too much. But let's wrap this episode up and let's talk about episode 9. Episode 9, I literally put at the top of my notes, this episode finna be tea for me, because that first look was messy. Alright, let's get into it. Sincere pulls Melanie for a chat. He's so fucking dumb. That's literally what I put. Stop dragging her along, and like, you apologize for her and her feelings, but you continue to do it. Like, this is where I'm like, it's not a who's right, who's wrong. Y'all both wrong, and y'all both dumb, and y'all both deserve better, but y'all both need to fix your actions. Insincere claims he doesn't have a connection with Soul, and I'm straight since we just lying today. Sincere literally ain't shit. That's what I put. He ain't shit. You cannot have your cake and eat it too. Says he's done kissing Soul. Y'all, he said he's done kissing Soul. Y'all think he's telling the truth? Oh, okay. Anyway, I said I'm not taking any more notes on this. I'm done, because I'm literally done, and I'm so fed up with their relationship, their connection, their everything. It's so toxic, it's annoying, and I've about had enough. So I put Anaya wrap up the therapy sessions, LMFAO, because girl, I'm tired of it. Then we get to Corbin and Anaya have a chat, and they're talking about Kenzie, and that was it. Zach and KC talk, and they're talking about Bryce wants to pull Kata, and again, KC and his facial expressions, like, what? But anyway, KC trying not to burst out laughing, because again, it's a joke. So we see that Sincere and Melanie had they chat and they're done or whatever. And again, this is where I'm like, she be petty. So she had her chat, and then she grabbed him, and she looking above talking about, I got my man back. And I'm like, girl, you just being petty so Soul can hear you and the rest of the Islanders. Like, girl, you just being petty. But anyway, Bryce and Kata finally talk, and his ass got shut down again, like we said he was. And I literally just put, child, that was dumb as hell, because it was. So we get to Trinity and Zach, and yeah, let's talk about that. So Zach and KC, no, wait. Trinity and Zach are talking, and I really didn't like this, because I'm like, you literally was just telling Bryce how you don't think that she like him or whatever, but now you up here, now that y'all got something to talk about together, you out here talking about that. And I'm like, I did not like that, because I'm like, you're fake. So I'm like, I didn't like that. But I literally put his fake ass just after just saying he don't see the connection, and Trin face trying to talk to her about Bryce want to pull Kata. Like, you just feel like you got something to connect with her on over a situation. Trauma bond. Go. Don't get out of here. She said that she continuously been catching feelings still for Bryce. And I'm like, girl, we know this. Zach fake. So forget that little boy. Then we get to a brief conversation between Bryce and Kata. And is that correct? No, I think it's Zach and Kata, and they just a brief convo about the stupid shit Bryce did pull. Anyway, Melanie, whatever, that's cool. Anaya, before they go to bed, Anaya says, she goes off on Sincere and Melanie, and she says, y'all so toxic, y'all have poor communication, and y'all connections stink, and I gotta sleep next to y'all. And I said, side note, Kenzie had all this to say about Corbin and how he did what he did with whoever he did it with, but in bed kissing that man. Bird. Next morning, Sincere dumb ass is making food for both Soul and Melanie. Like, dude, get it through your head. You're whatever. Sincere and Bryce, wait, no, child, Sincere got me messing up my notes. Mel and Kata have a talk, and Mel says she's giving him another chance. This be the thing, y'all give people too many chances, and when somebody show you who they are the first time, believe it. If it's a bird the first time, believe it. If it moo, it's a cow. If it bark, it's a dog. If it cheat, it's a man. If it cheat, it's sincere. If he lie, it's sincere. All above, a man. But anyway, Mel and Kata also discuss how Mel hasn't even done half of what Sincere is doing, and that's one of Melanie's biggest frustration right now. And I'm not talking about them, so it don't matter, whatever. Sincere and Bryce talking and whatever, and Bryce tells Sincere, like, you need to be honest with yourself. And I'd say Bryce, for his age, is about dumb as hell when it comes to advice and maturity in relationships. For somebody who is pushing 30, your advice is not well. And I would, people say with age comes maturity, with age comes wisdom. You ain't got neither of the two. So Soul and Kenzie talk about the potential connection of Soul and Sincere. And Kenzie just doesn't want anybody to feel left out or alone, so that's really why she was talking to her. And I appreciated that because Soul was feeling like she got, people got beef for her. So Trinity and Bryce re-chat about everything, and I like this conversation because Bryce was just speaking about his doubts and his fears, and Trinity's like, how do you think I feel if a white woman comes in here and she has everything that you like? You're gonna look her way, and we're not even the same race. Like, and I'm like, I'm glad you said that because that's real. Like, we always hear about it on the other hand, but we don't hear from a black woman's perspective. So I really like that. So they cool or whatever now, but Trinity, keep your guard up because we need to find you a better man. So like, production, can you send us two like fine ass black men? So just, if y'all want to be messy, send them for Naya and Trinity, please. But anywho, because all the girls gonna be ready to open up for them. But whatever. So Kenzie and Corbin talk. I literally put bye Corbin bye. I don't have nothing to say. I literally just put bye Corbin bye. And I said the girls in this villa need to stand up, specifically Trinity and Kenzie. So Zach and Bryce, everything straight between them two. And Corbin gets a text. And we're about to play the game Sweet as Pie. Then Kata gets a text and telling, Pie People or Kiss People, hosted by the new After Sun hosts, Sierra and Terry. I hope I said, is it Terry or Teffy? I hope I'm saying their names right. But I don't know them at all. I don't watch Summer House, and I don't know the podcast or whatever, but they're gorgeous. Yeah, so this is the game. Ask questions about the Islanders. They will ask questions about the Islanders. Some will be nice and some will be naughty. They're split between boys and girls. They will work together and decide which Islander on the opposite team aligns with that answer. If it's a nice round, lock their answer in with a kiss. If it's a naughty round, they'll lock it in with pie. So let's get into all the rounds. So first round, likely to remember someone's coffee order. The girls decided to pick Kenzie. Let me reword this. For the girls, they chose Kenzie and Kenzie picked Caleb. So she shared a kiss with Caleb. The boys chose KC and he picks Anaya. Yes! Shout out to Anaya. Out of the villa, second part was who out of the villa is the most likely to ghost you? The girls had Soul pick Corbin, and I agreed, so he got a pat in the face. And the boys had Corbin pick Soul, so it was tit for tat, whatever. Not tit for tat, but they just happened to pick the same people. So then we get to number 3, most likely to defend you when you're not in the room. The girls had Kata pick Zach, please. After he did not defend Trinity, please. Then the boys had Gabrielle pick Beatriz, which is extremely accurate. Extremely accurate. If somebody gonna check somebody or stand up for somebody, it's gonna be Bea. So number 4, who is most likely to throw you under the bus but to save themselves? The girls had Anaya pick Bryce, and the boys had Bryce pick Melanie. Number 5, most likely to stop and help a stranger. The girls had Melanie pick Sincere, which is dumb. I would have said KC, but they didn't want Melanie kissing KC, so I completely understand, I guess. And So then said in her confessional, like, it's hard as a bombshell to come in when it seems like all the doors are already closed. Like, we usually see that closer to the end of the season when people are in connections and the doors are kind of closed in those relationships, but we saw it early here. But whatever. Where am I at? Okay, so then for that answer, the boys pick Caleb to pick Kenzie. So most likely to sleep with their best friend's partner. This is number 6. The girls had Trinity pick Corbin, and the boys had Corbin pick Kenzie. And I'm like, what? Like, that didn't make no sense. And Corbin asked like why the girls picked him, and Trinity is like, boy, you literally tried to kiss Kata after you just looked at Kenzie. Like, what? Like, you be trying to be a player and think you getting away with it, and we all know your game. Like, so corny Corbin, stop being stupid. So number 7, most likely to string several people along at once. The girls had Kenzie pick Sincere. Not Kenzie, had Jen pick Sincere, and Jen ate that. She said, I know you're sincere, but you're not honest. Deserved, because yeah. And then Sincere gonna say in his confessional, you know, I don't understand that. Like, I've been honest, boy, whatever. Then for the boys, KC picks Kenzie, and they only pick Kenzie because she's, you know, in a connection with both Kenzie, Caleb and Corbin, whatever. I guess that was the cop-out answer, when it should have been Melanie, in my opinion. Then we get to number 8. Who would tell you you have spinach in your teeth? The girls have Bea pick Caleb, and the boys have Caleb pick Bea. And I said, period, Bea popped it. I don't remember what she said, but she popped it. Number 9, most likely to break girl code or guy code. This is where mess gets mess. The girls have Kata pick Gabrielle, and then it was so funny because she was like, I know in Brazil they like to share. And I said, okay. Then the boys have Zach pick Soul, and this is where Soul gets irritated. And I think Soul got popped more than we saw. Based on Better 3's confessional, she said they were picking Soul for a lot of stuff when they should have been picking Melanie. So yeah, that was interesting. So in this moment, Soul took a step back from set and just, you know, got her emotions out and came back. But I don't understand why anybody is upset at Soul, because she's doing her job of a bombshell, like Gabrielle is, like Kata is. People are forgetting that they are also bombshells, but whatever. So then after this, Mel and Sincere, that's the challenge ended after that. Mel and Sincere wants to have a talk. And while I peeped this, Melanie wants to talk to Soul. And she's like, you know, I don't want her to feel like, you know, she's being bullied, or like, you know, we're picking on her because, you know, a lot of people are kind of in a relationship with her, basically because of the challenge. Sincere was like, I think you should just give her some space, because you knew if they would have talked, you would have got your ass exposed. You're not slick, insincere. But whatever. I didn't see a lot of people talking about that, but I peeped that. So Casey let Soul know, like, hey, take some time, and I want to talk to you later about the challenge, and, you know, just console with you. You know, I don't want you to feel like you don't have nobody here. Again, Casey is a top tier man. Whatever. Sincere and Gabrielle talk. I literally just put, men are stupid. And I know I'm a man, but I don't get down like the rest of these men do. I don't even know what they talked about. I literally told y'all this episode gave me a headache. Men are stupid. Bea and Gabrielle then talk, and Gabrielle says he feels like Bea is keeping things from him regarding her feelings. She's like, no, but I just think we eventually find out that, you know, the miscommunication about what exploring looks like for the both of them. So we get to nighttime. Let's take a little second. Prepare yourselves. So we get to nighttime. Trinity looks so good. Oh my God. Like, the girls really be eating, but Trinity looks so good tonight. Anaya looks so good tonight. Gagged. So before, we already know what's coming. So before Ariana arrives, we have a little bit of side conversations. So Corbin and Caleb talk real quick about Kenzie, and pretty much may the best man win. Whatever. Mel, Trinity, and Anaya, they talked about the situation at the pie game, and Melanie says she doesn't like the love triangle and how is it affecting Soul when she's just doing her part as a bombshell. Bullshit. Because if that's the case, then why did you scream over that balcony, I got my man back? I'm not buying it. I'm not falling for it. Melanie, you weird. Sincere and Soul, he's talking to Soul, said, and he's just speaking sweet nothings. Like, he thinks their connection, she says, I think our connection is only gonna get so far because of what you and Mel have. And I just feel like Sincere is good at being toxic. He's trying to reassure her and make sure she feels grounded, but I just feel like you're stringing both of them along, and that's not fair to nobody involved. But go off, Mr. Sincere. Zach and Jen have a talk, and Jen just says she only feel like she has a connection with Gabrielle, and he's like, yeah, he's interested in you, so keep pursuing that or whatever. Gabrielle and Bed of Threes have one more conversation, and Bed tries to fully understand how he was feeling, but regardless, they get to a point of understanding. Here we go. Ariana's here, and she looking bomb as fuck, as usual. Shout out my girl Ariana, my Cancer sister. And it's so funny because, like, season 6 and 7, when they saw Ariana, they were happy, like, oh, you look good, like, oh, she's fine, la da da da. Sometimes they're like, oh shit, here we go, but they would still be like, oh, she look good. This season, like, no, anytime they see her, they're just like, ugh, Ariana's like, dang, like, I miss y'all too, like, geez, like, sorry, I'm the one that has to deliver all the news, but we meet at the fire pit, and Anaya lets them know that the power has been given to America, and we shook some shit up. 3 couples will be broken up and find themselves single and vulnerable. So here were the new couples. Caleb and Kenzie, and Corbin is now single and vulnerable. That's a pretty couple. Caleb and Kenzie looks really good together. Jen and Gabrielle are a new couple. Beth scooted over so damn fast. Like, she was pissed, but I don't think she was shocked. Well, I do think she was shocked. But she scooted over so damn fast. Jen looks so nervous, and Bea is now single and vulnerable. So Insincere is the new couple. I voted literally all these ways too, so I don't care. Melanie is now single and vulnerable, and Sincere didn't have much to say. Like, Ariana was asking, like, Sincere, what do you think of, being coupled up in this or whatever? And Sincere didn't have much to say. Like, it just gave fake. Like, it gave fake and scared, but honestly, you're dragging these 2 women along still, and that's what it gave. And before this, they kept saying, like, whatever we do, we're gonna get through it, all that sweet whatever, all that sweet nothings. Melanie says she's finally happy to end the love triangle and ready to keep exploring. Bye. Corbin then has to choose which girl he wants to couple up with between Melanie and Bed Threes. And Love Island, y'all spoiled this already because we did see that you posted the After Sun guest and it said Shine and Bed 3, so we all knew she was going home, but it's okay, we got like you didn't do it. So he chooses Melanie, and she says she decided to explore it and see what can be there. But yeah, Bed 3's goes home. I literally put, Trinity said, I'm fucking boohoo crying in this bitch because I really like Bed 3's. I feel like the 2 people who got dumped from the island, it's like, damn, Sean and Bed 3's, like, I like the both of them, but you can't stay here forever. So that was week 2 of Love Island, and it was a week, y'all. It was a week. It really was, and I love the season so far. I think we're finally about to get out of hopefully the mess that is Melanie and Sincere. I'm excited to see these new connections explored and see what happens. Sunday's episode is going to be something, I will tell you that. So yeah, I'm excited to see what's going to happen. I'm nervous for Kanaya because I feel like they're about to start testing their relationship, they as in production. So I just really see that coming. But yeah, I can't wait to watch this After the Sun episode tonight, even though it's 12 o'clock in the morning. But I can't wait to watch this episode and see what happens, what they're talking about. And overall, just see, what Bed 3 sees and Sean. What is that? I know this After Sun is a little bit more interactive. We see what happens when they get, removed out of the villa and everything. So I'm excited to see what happens. But yeah, If you made it this far, thank you. I appreciate you. I love you. If you didn't make it this far, whatever. I still love you and appreciate you. But yeah, drop your comments down below. My favorite couples right now is literally only Casey and Anaya, but my clients is Casey, Anaya, Trinity, Kata, Kenzie, and Caleb. That's like, well, I won't say clients, but I like Kenzie and Caleb. But my clients for sure are Casey, Anaya, and Trinity. Love them. And Kata. They're my 4 clients. And then my 4, like, I'm thinking about purchasing is Kenzie and Caleb. Specifically Kenzie. Caleb usually got here, but specifically Kenzie. But is there anybody else I'm missing? No, I don't know. But yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of another Love Island, Villa, Fiji, whatever recap. I'm tired. I've been talking for quite some time. So let's wrap this up. I will see y'all on the next time we're in Fiji together. See y'all.